and award-winning multidisciplinary artist, author, chief executive of Neon, a health technology company, a visiting professor in Immersive Future with Ulster University Northern Ireland. Please welcome Ms. Deepa Mann-Kler.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Sophie. Just bear with me while I do the screen share. I'm going to talk tonight about how virtual and augmented reality can be used by people to empower and discover new ways of managing daily challenges. And I'm also going to share my insights that as you begin to explore the capabilities of virtual and augmented reality, the more important the question and answer of what it is to be human becomes. All the best stories have a beginning, and this is where I start mine today. So these are my parents shortly after they arrived in England from India in 1961. On 55 years later, on the 1st of January 2016, my father passed away peacefully in Leicester Royal Infirmary. So I bedded myself down for the grief that I knew that was to follow. And 11 months later, we're on a family break in Iceland and we stumble across Björk, the musician, her latest album, Vulnicura, which is available to experience in virtual reality at the Harper in Reykjavik. Now, on that day, I'd been feeling really unwell and considered staying at home, but took a couple of Nurofen and struggled on. By the end, I had become so immersed in that VR experience of dancing with Björk that something remarkable happened. I did not feel unwell, and something lifted, and I felt lighter than at any point in the preceding 11 months. And I decided right then and there that I needed to find out more about virtual reality. That was November 2016, and that was my first inkling of technology connecting me back with my own humanity. So we arrived back from Iceland, and I set up a new company called Neon. And three things happen. The prescribed opioid crisis blows up. I further my knowledge of the therapeutic benefits of VR, and Neon is invited to a pain hackathon. And I learned that 150 people are dying every day from prescribed opioids, which is about the same as 3 planes crashing every single week. And for years, drug companies have lied about how addictive opioids are and how the stark reality is that daily long-term use of opioids can actually make your pain worse. I learned that the health service in the UK writes 28 million prescriptions for opioids annually, and that every day, at least 20% of the world's population, which is about 1.5 billion people, are in chronic pain, which is persistent pain that lasts for 3 months or more. So at the Pain Hackathon, we are invited to develop solutions for people living in pain. And on the day, we hear from one man and how he has actually lost all the enamel from his teeth because he has been so sick from the side effects of the prescribed pain medication. And in preparation for the Pain Hackathon, we researched the benefits of deep breathing and learned that we each breathe over 23,000 times each day, and how this can be one of nature's most powerful medicines. We learned that the human brain processes images 60,000 times faster than text, and that 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual. So on the day, we use all of this learning and we combine the very human act of breathing with cutting-edge immersive technology, and we build Breathe VR. So what happens in Breathe VR? Once the headset is on, you are in a bright, colorful meadow, listening to calm music and birds. You inhale deeply through your nose, and then you exhale deeply out of your mouth. At which point this breath is detected by the mic, which makes the leaves in the VR environment rise and fall. And the combination of being in VR and using your breath to affect your environment maximizes your feeling of immersion and distraction from your pain. So while the demo that we built on the day worked really, really well, we wanted further evidence that Breathe VR does reduce your pain. So we conducted a study using Breathe VR with patients suffering from fibromyalgia and spinal fusion surgery, two of the most painful conditions around. And after using Breathe VR for as little as 3 minutes, 80% of our participants reported a de-escalation in their pain, and not just a slight drop, but a staggering, in some cases, a 50% drop. And I'd like to share the story about one of the people in the study called Kay. Kay loves cycling, but about 4 years ago was knocked over and underwent major spinal fusion surgery and still suffers from partial paralysis down the left-hand side of his body. Now, Kay's pain was obvious not only in the way he moved, but also in his facial expression. But after using Breathe VR for only 3 minutes, Kay was close to tears, as he was so moved by what he had experienced and the benefits that he felt. Kay's breath became his medicine. And finally, in our study, all the patients said the same thing. They want choice and they do not want to use opioids. And that was enough evidence for us to develop Breathe VR further and to launch it on the Oculus store. Now, another app that my company has developed is called Talking Sense, and it's augmented reality. So this aim is to support parents who are learning to manage the behavior of their autistic children and to help parents develop better coping strategies. So bringing up a child with autism can be challenging for parents who often have poorer mental health outcomes. But by giving parents access to proactive strategies to help their child's needs has been shown to have a positive mental benefit for parents. And in Talking Sense, the parents engage in a conversation with a character, Ben, who represents their child. And with Ben, the parents can practice in real time, real life challenging behavior scenarios and strategies for supporting and understanding their child. And in Talking Sense, we practice a routine evening scenario to facilitate ease of transition from watching TV in the bedroom to going to bed. Discover Emmy VR animation is another project that we're developing, which is sharing insights into the lives of people who live with Emmy. And it uses the power of empathy so that the viewer remembers what they see, hear, and experience with their entire body and not just their minds. And with VR, we put professionals in scenes in the middle of real life stories that are normally never seen, heard, or experienced to help lessen the gap between actual events and personal experience. And now with about 20% of people who have had COVID actually experiencing long COVID where the symptoms are very similar to ME, the need for this VR experience has become even more urgent. So another game that we've developed, AR, is called Wakamo, and it's based on the familiar Whack-A-Mole game that you see at fun fairs. Now, we were approached by play therapists at the Belfast Children's Hospital who wanted to use technology with children undergoing chemotherapy treatment and routine cannula procedures. So undergoing any kind of medical procedure can be frightening and stressful for a child. And if the procedure fails to go ahead, it can result in a delay of treatment to the child, stress and cost to the NHS. And in the same way that VR has been shown to be effective in immersive distraction, AR equally offers the same opportunities. So VR is being used to manage phobias, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, mental health, anxiety, and rehabilitation. And the next example I want to share is called With Feel VR. This has been created by Lewis Smith, which is an immersive music package developed for disabled people. With Feel is networked and allows social interaction through physical and musical gestures and conducting compositions. And this system is being used by the Open Youth Orchestra of Ireland, the first cross-border orchestra in Ireland for disabled musicians. So where developments in VR and health are really exciting is where you use VR to do things that only it can do and to solve real problems. And I will explain what I mean through this VR vaccine app made in Brazil. Now, it's really clever at understanding the psychology of the user experience.
This is VR Vaccine. The VR Vaccine is an immersive adventure where the children become a hero about to receive a powerful shield. To make it work, we need one VR gear, one smartphone for the children, one for the nurse, and the VR Vaccine app.
Oi! Você voltou! Você voltou!
And what the children experience in the virtual world is matched step by the nurse that follows the story on a second screen.
Pronto. Agora o fruto de fogo. Mas ó, vamos lá. Bem rapidinho. Peraí.
All simultaneously calming and entertaining children while helping the nurses to better perform the vaccination.
Funciona, funciona, funciona! Obrigada, obrigada! Caramba, filho, o que você achou disso? Legal.
So VR also has the capability to retrain our neural networks and pathways in a really positive way through a process called neuroplasticity, where we actually rewire our brains and change it on a cellular level. And one of the best examples of neuroplasticity is from the rubber hand experiment, where the brain believes the illusion that the rubber hand is its own. See how quickly and convincingly this happens.
We're going to do a little demonstration here called the rubber hand illusion. It's going to be a little scary.
This illusion may look like fairground fun, but it reveals one of the most important new ideas in brain science.
Thank you. Right there. Good. And can you put this hand down right over here and just curl it up like the rubber hand's curled up a little bit. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is try to position the rubber hand so it looks like it's your own. Okay, could you imagine that being your own hand, kinda? Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to stroke your fingers simultaneously, the rubber finger and your real finger, and hopefully this will convince you that the rubber hand is your own, that your brain will actually adopt this hand.
In the illusion, simply watching the rubber hand being stroked at the same time as the real hand is enough to trick the brain into adopting it as its own.
We like weird. And slowly but surely, you should feel that the hand you're looking at is actually part of your body.
Feels like you're touching my hand with that one.
Right, so it feels like this is your hand that I'm touching, right?
Yes.
You okay?
Yeah.
Good. Try that at home with your kids. Yeah. The rubber hand illusion is a wonderful example of how multisensory perception can influence how we perceive our own body. I mean, that's how deep multisensory perception runs.
So David Rue talks about how we are at the cutting edge of therapeutic VR. And in this MRI image, it shows what's happening in the brain when we use VR to control pain. You can clearly see that on the image that VR reduces sensory pain where there are fewer pain signals and less emotional pain, but at the same time, the positive areas of resilience and cognitive processing are increased. So in effect, what's happening is a double whammy effect. Less perceived pain combined with the positive effect of increased resilience. So while technology offers solutions that does give people choice, the use of technology can also enable people to share their experiences and in so doing give hope and enable people to feel human again. So effective VR and AR teaches people skills they can use in real life. So this is where I draw my story to an end, and I come full circle to another photograph of my mother and father. Now, my mother has suffered from chronic pain for the past 25 years, and this is her reaction to using Breathe VR for the first time. What do you think of it?
It's just bloody hell, I tell you. Pardon me, I use this word quite often when I'm happy and when I'm angry as well, but this is relaxing. It's really, really bloody hell.
I just want to end by saying that I believe technology will finally give people choice that people like my mother have not had to date. Thank you for listening.